I didn't actually expect to speak tonight, but it's an honor for me to be asked to. I wish there were such a thing as a democratic opposition to the Putin government. Unfortunately, the word opposition implies a kind of mechanism and a kind of level of organization that we don't have. But what I do want to say is that in March, there was one of the many polls that were done in March that were shocking in their results. Opinion polls showed that there were only 6% of Russians who were opposed to a military invasion of Ukraine. I'm used to being part of the 5, 6, 10%. So I'm certainly part of that. And just addressing the activists from Kiev, I want to apologize to you as a Russian citizen. I know you've heard it before, but I don't think that the few of us who can say this can say it enough. I'm very sorry on behalf of my country, which is committing a crime against your country. And I want to pick up on what Kevin said. When the Western media cover what Putin is doing in Ukraine, they miss a very important part of the story. And the reason they miss the story is actually very simple. It's absurd. I mean, you can't write with a straight face that Russians are claiming to be fighting gay American fascism in Ukraine. But that's what they're claiming, right? And the word that they're using for the Europe that they're fighting is gay Europa, right? Which is a thing. It's a word. And it's absurd that in sort of pushing out of their minds and of their stories this part of propaganda that makes no sense to a normal mind, they're missing the biggest international story of our time. And that's, Kevin has been spending time watching Russian TV. I've been spending time doing something even more unpleasant, if you can imagine that. I've been spending time listening to Alexander Dugin, who is the chief Kremlin ideologist at this point. What he says very, very plainly. He says there's a clash of civilizations. There's the Western civilization, which believes that there is such a thing. I'm quoting now. The Western civilization believes that there is such a thing as universal human rights, which apply to the post-gender and post-human beings. And I think by that he means us. And there's the Russian civilization, which is a different civilization, which stands for traditional values. And fine, if the West wants to live with its gay people, it can do that, says Dugin. But they just shouldn't force their so-called universal human rights on us, right? So that's the essence of the clash of civilizations. And where he is right is that there is a clash of civilization. There's a worldwide cultural war going on. And the front line in that war is in Ukraine right now. And I think that's why I came here tonight, and I think that's why it's so important that the activists from Kiev are at World Pride, because that's the most important thing going on right now. That's the most important battle. That is where the clash of civilizations is happening. So thank you for having me.